All right. Hello, Fee. Okay, so everybody, I have Fee Redding from the Happiness Hunter with me today, which I'm very, very excited to be chatting to her and sharing her wisdom. She has really transformed my life in the last year, and I'm so happy to share her wisdom with you as well. So welcome, Fee.
Thanks, Kate. It's really nice to be here all the way from Melbourne.
Exactly, yeah, from Melbourne, that's right. And you are the founder of the Happiness Hunter. And what we talked about today was really to introduce the Happiness Hunter and you, but also to talk specifically about meditation. And I think there's a lot of mystery about it, and really simplifying it, and just sharing exactly what it is and how some of us who want to get started can get started.
Excellent. Well, do you know, Kate, meditation is one of my favourite subjects in the whole wide world. So I'm really delighted to actually be here to talk with you a little bit more about that. So that's
fantastic, fantastic. But first, before we get into that, Fee, I'd love to share your background. So how you founded the Happiness Hunter and how you got into meditation, kind of what prompted that, because it's an amazing story, and please share that with us.
So basically, as you know, Kate, it's coming up to 4.5 years ago now, that I sort of I'd found myself in a place in my life. I was so deeply unhappy. I really can't express now. I can't actually even imagine now how I felt then. Like I felt completely trapped in my life. I felt zero hope for my future. I was just like, what's this all about? And so basically, was a sort of a backstory to the backstory about how I actually got there, which I'm not even going to bore you with today. But essentially what sort of happened is I woke up and I just almost feels like I woke up one day and I just thought, this is no longer acceptable, what's going on in my life. So basically, in a nutshell, I was drinking every day. I was at home with 2 tiny little kids. My kids were tiny at that stage.
What age were they, Fee? Sorry.
So my daughter was nearly 2 and my son was 3. So I was in a very unhappy relationship with their dad. We were both unhappy. It hadn't been a sort of an ideal scenario getting us to that point. As I said, that's another story. It's a story for another day. But I just sort of realised, I needed to take some bit more responsibility for my life. I needed to actually, if I was as unhappy as I really was, then what was actually going on for me? And I needed to take a pretty long, dark look at myself and actually see what was going on inside of me to sort of have attracted this life into existence. Like I don't know how I knew that's what I needed to do, but I knew in the deepest part of me. So basically I decided
Was it like almost desperation thing?
A complete I mean, I was beyond desperate. I was really overweight. I hadn't been able to get work. We had a lot of money stuff going on. I felt completely disempowered in my entire life. There was not one area of my life that I thought, this is going really well. I mean, apart from how I felt about my kids, but I felt like a shit mum because I was drinking every day and I didn't really feel like I was role modelling any kind of okay behaviour to them with that, and also in terms of how I was handling myself within the dynamic of the communication with their dad as well. So basically I decided to stop drinking and I signed up in January 2000. Actually, it all happened around the same time, but basically I decided to stop drinking, and then 2 weeks later I took my kids and I left their dad, and I didn't really know what was coming next for me after that. But I knew in the deepest part of me that it had to be better than where I'd just come from. Like even with all the uncertainty and the fear and all of that, it was like, for the first time in a long time, probably almost I could say my whole entire life, I was acting from a place of 100% empowerment. And, so basically I became the happiness hunter. I was so unhappy and all I wanted to do was be happy. And so basically what I did initially 2 things. I decided to stop drinking, and I signed up to a website called HSM, Hello Sunday Morning, to do that. And I called myself Happiness. And that was actually the inspiration ultimately for what then became the Happiness Hunter. And I decided to start meditating. And, I knew I'd sort of had this dialogue going in my head for months leading up to deciding to stop drinking, that basically I needed to stop drinking and start meditating. Stop drinking, start meditating. Like it was, I don't know who was telling me that, but someone was telling me to do that. So basically I just started meditating. And initially I just started with guided app every night at night before I went to sleep, because I wasn't drinking. And, you know, a lot of stuff was coming up for me with that in terms of my emotional, mental, all of it. You know, I was really having to deeply question who I was at the very deepest part of my being, because I used alcohol to medicate, and, you know, other recreational drugs for a long time as well, to medicate and to cope in life, life for such a long time that
but at the meantime suffocating, what was
dying,
going on.
literally dying, you know. And so basically I started meditating, and I don't know, stuff just started happening, you know. And that's basically where the whole idea for the Happiness Hunter came from, with the walks, with all of it, you know, was just from that space of connection to the truth of who I was, and allowing myself the space and the time to listen, to be able to tune into that and listen to that, and to get myself out of the program that was running in my head, that is running in all of our heads. You know, meditation gives us a space to just not listen to that for a little while, to observe it, to become more aware of how we think and what is actually going on for us mentally, to actually then give us the space to overcome that, I suppose, in a way. So that's the gift of meditation.
And so you're saying that basically meditation helped you redirect and create the Happiness Hunter, and I guess within 4 years where you are now.
I can honestly say, I mean, there's a few things that have happened, and, you know, often I'll say, oh, it was this person, it was this thing, it's a combination of things. But I can honestly tell you, and everybody who's listening to this, meditation changed my life, and it's still changing my life. I still meditate, you know, once or twice every single day. I never don't meditate. It's just not something that's an option. I mean, some days I might go without a shower, you know, seriously, but I don't go a day without meditating. I'm actually not joking. Like, that's how much it is now a part of who I am, that keeps me balanced and content and happy and focused and hopeful and all of those things. Like, meditation gives you all of those things.
And so we'll go into exactly what is meditation, Fee, because I think some people, and me included before I started working with you and doing it a little bit more regularly, there's a lot of kind of, you know, it's too hard, I don't have time, you know, all that kind of stuff. So we'll go into that and also look at exactly what the Happiness Hunter is. But let's start, should we start with what meditation is?
So the first thing I really want to say, and I cannot really reiterate this enough, everyone can meditate, even you. You can all meditate. We all have the ability to meditate. We don't want our programming, our ego, whatever, it doesn't want us to meditate. It doesn't want us to stop listening to it. It doesn't want us to stop running the show. So we think, oh, I can't meditate, you know, I just can't, it's too busy and I can't come down. Well, if you think you're too busy to meditate, you know, you need to be meditating. If you think you can't meditate, you need to be meditating, because you're the ones that are really going to benefit from the most. Because actually, when you start to understand that you actually have the power of your mind, and you don't allow your mind to have the power of you over you, and that's the gift that meditation gives you, then you're actually going to stop being so busy. So basically, you can all meditate. Even if you think you can't, you can absolutely meditate. And the other thing is with meditation as well, I think we have this idea that meditation, you know, we need to be in the lotus position. We need to be, you know, in our yoga or our, what's it called, the, you know, the workout gear or whatever like that. We need to be, you don't, you can, meditation is literally something you can do anywhere in any position. The only thing that you really need to try and have with meditation is a straight spine, so that you allow the flow of energy. So whether you're lying down flat or you're sitting up, that you try and have a straight spine, so that you allow the flow of energy to sort of run through your chakra system and whatever. So like, we don't even need to go into any of that. So we're just saying basically meditation, using meditation as a relaxation tool and as a tool to calm you down. The idea of meditation is not to stop thinking. It's not to stop any of that. It's because we can't stop thinking. Like, that's the way our brains are wired. Our job within meditation is to start becoming more aware of our thoughts, to be able to observe our thoughts, to be able to connect into our breath, to be able to disconnect from our thoughts, to not be completely identified with them, but to see them as something that is operating, that we don't have to identify with it. And until we start to meditate, we aren't able to identify our thoughts in a way. So the idea of meditation is literally to focus in on your breath and to give yourself a break from listening to your thoughts, not stopping them, not being aware of them. It's being very aware of them, but just starting to observe them and not actually have to then buy into everything that your head is telling you, because most of the time it's rubbish.
Oh, totally. And to believe that that's who we are, and that our thoughts are not necessary. They're not who we are.
No.
No, they don't,
they're not. They're literally a program that is, keeping us alive, keeping us safe, keeping us all of those things. But our job through meditation is to really start to tap into the truth of who we are. That at the core of our being, not this program that's going on in our head, but the bigger part of us, I suppose you could say. Whatever you want to call that, it doesn't really matter. But the true self within us.
Yeah, and you mentioned the breath, Fee, and I think because it brings us back into the present moment, and when we're in the present moment, our thoughts aren't racing around and zapping our energy. We're kind of here and now.
That's exactly right. And that's exactly what meditation is. Like, meditation is the greatest tool to bring you into the present moment, into the awareness of now, because it's actually now, in this present moment, is the only moment that actually exists. It's where our life is lived. And we spend so much of each present moment focusing on crap that's happened in the past or worrying about stuff that's happened in the future that we're never actually living, because we're never in the present moment. We're constantly not here. So meditation, mindfulness, whatever you want to call it, meditation is literally just closing your eyes and breathing and just being aware of yourself, your true self, in this moment now, and just letting all of that stuff just go. It's not, this moment now is not the time to be thinking about that. You can give yourself permission to come back to that in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour, however long you decide to have your meditation practice. And you can draw yourself back to that and pull yourself back into the present moment through meditation.
And through the breath, I think, because it can be it could be a minute, couldn't it? Just
literally
on your breath for a minute.
Literally, that's a meditation. Going for a walk along the beach and just looking out at the sea and not thinking of anything, that's meditation. Like, that's what I mean. Meditation, it doesn't necessarily have to be you sitting down in the lotus position. It's meditation is where you are consciously choosing not to engage in your thoughts.
Yeah, beautiful. And is there a difference between meditation and mindfulness?
Oh, look, to be really honest, like, mindfulness is about being present in whatever it is you're doing. So basically you're having a cup of tea. I think this is one of the things they say with mindfulness. You make the cup of tea and you put the tea bag, or you put the leaves in the pot, and that's just what you're doing. So that's mindfulness, or mindfully colouring in, where you're actually mindful. That's what you're doing right now. It's a meditation. It's just a different form of meditation. But what I really encourage people to do is to learn how to meditate, to not be doing anything else. Yeah. To just literally be sitting there quietly with yourself for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 10 hours, however long it is that you want to practice for on a daily basis, to make sure you try and do it at the same time. So you're starting to build some discipline and structure into your meditation practice, so that you're starting to train your mind. You're starting to tell your mind, I've got control of you. Yeah. I'm running the show here. You're not telling me how this is going to be anymore. So,
and to be aware of those thoughts that misdirect us. And zap our energy as well. Yes. There was, I had another thought. No, keep going, Fee. Sorry, interrupt.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So basically meditation really is, don't overcomplicate it. You don't need to overthink it. You're not too busy to do it. Because the thing is also too, the more you start to meditate, the more you allow that meditation practice to become a regular part of your day, the more that meditative state starts to filter out and flow out into the rest of your day and in the way you live your life, because you become so much more aware of your thoughts and you become so much more aware of yourself, and you don't buy into the negativity and the stuff anymore, because you've learned that you can just disengage from it. You don't have to believe everything you think. You don't have to act on everything you think. It gives you that capacity.
And there's a lot of talk about mindfulness and meditation at the moment, which is why I was keen to kind of tap your mind on this too. And because it is so, so important. We have, and technology has created this, because, we've got the phone, we're constantly looking at what's going on, who's talking to us, what's happening. It's easy not to have a second to be or to appreciate what's going on around us in the moment, because we can so easily be distracted from the moment.
I think that's a really good point. And I think that's one of the things that I'm certainly finding for me, and with obviously other people that I'm working with. You know, I've obviously been taught how to meditate by someone as well. But I think the thing is with meditation, and as you sort of say, with all of these constant busy and the distraction, meditation teaches you how to focus, because you have to focus on the stillness, the quiet, you know, and that is a focus, you know. And I think we're so sorry,
Fee, but to be content in the stillness, and to be content in not without the distraction.
Yeah. And I think also too, you know, like also recognizing that it's okay to feel a range of emotions, you know, and it's okay even in a meditation you know, it's a practice, you know, so you need to keep practicing it. And some days it's going to be very hard to still the mind. That's okay. You still sit there for your 10 minutes or your 15 minutes until your timer goes off or whatever. And then you go back the next day and you keep trying and you keep trying and you keep trying. And that way is how you get discipline and focus in your mental processes until you can actually sit down and say, look, I'm taking control here. We're going to have this chaotic frenzy in our mind, and it's becoming more and more chaotic and more frenzied and less focused.
Yeah. And you touched on it, but to be content with the different emotions that come up. Yeah. Not content, but just to
accept
feel
them.
Accept them.
It's part of the human experience. It's part of the human experience, but not allowing the thought processes that are going on beyond that to feed into it or create a false sense of emotion either. So that's where the power is. It's very difficult. And I think this is the thing with meditation as well. You cannot explain the benefits of it properly.
No.
Like you can talk about, okay, you know, it lowers the risk of heart disease, it lowers the risk of stroke, it lowers the risk of stress, you know, it makes you calmer, it improves your relationships, it improves your health. Those benefits, you know, like the measurable things. I'm talking about the unquantifiable, immeasurable benefits. You cannot communicate them. No. You can only experience them through meditation. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. It's like, guys, do meditate. I can't tell you why. You just have to do it and learn and experience that for yourself, you know?
I know. Well, and Fee, we were talking earlier, but I know since I've started doing it more regularly, I can tell the days that I haven't meditated because I don't have a good day.
Yeah.
It is that black and white.
Yeah.
Seriously. Whether it's taking time for myself, but really I think it's resetting the thought process.
Yeah.
Filling yourself up, rewiring a few neurons, whatever it is.
So basically my teacher, so Dr. Assam, so he basically says optimally you'd be meditating for 24 minutes a day. So 1 minute for every hour, it's enough. Yeah. But if you can only do 10 minutes, by all means, just do 10 minutes. You know, most days I'll really try and get in sort of 45 or an hour's meditation. But, you know, some days it really is only 10 or 15 minutes, but it's always at the start of the day. And then I fit in what I can through the rest of the day. The other thing is also too, I was going to say with that as well, is that, you know, ideally we are sitting in a still position. We're still, you know, we're practicing stilling our body with a straight spine, just us and our breath. You know, ideally that is the ideal meditation practice, really. But like I said, I started with a guided app.
Yeah. So tell us, you know, how do we get started, Fee?
So basically, just start. All you need to do is whatever's going to work for you. If you honestly think you can't sit still and quietly and meditate, that's fine. Just get a guided app. You know, there's millions of them on YouTube. There's, you know, Mind Space, there's Headspace, there's Smiling Mind. There's a number of different apps you can choose. Like there's meditation podcasts. There's so many different avenues you can go down to practice meditating with somebody guiding you through it. So they're called guided meditations. So some of them have music, some of them do binaural beats, some of them are just, you know, really calming. Some of them are actually talking you through breathing. Some of them are talking you through, you know, it's called progressive muscle relaxation. There's millions of them that you can do. You will find one that works for you.
And I'll share some of those as well. But to be honest, I've been really loving Dr. Isam's Green Heart meditation. That is so beautiful.
It's a stunning meditation.
It is so beautiful. And it's only 13 minutes. So it's,
I know.
You know,
and that's the thing, you know, so like we do say 24 minutes, but like honestly, 2 minutes meditation is going to bring you benefit. 30 seconds meditation will bring you benefit. It's literally just saying, I love myself enough and I care about the quality of my life and I want to be happy and I want to have the full experience possible that I can have in my life. And I know, because Fiona told me, that if I meditate, I'm going to allow that to start to happen.
Yeah. And Fee, just on that, I think just focusing on your breath for a couple of minutes, which is really how what got me started, and really breathing deeply into the diaphragm, deep into the belly rather than the chest, because and from a physical point of view, which I always look at in the science, it actually resets the parasympathetic nervous system. So our rest and digest. Whereas if we're breathing here from the chest, it's our sympathetic nervous system, which is the stress response. So, I kind of really focused on that before getting into the meditation.
I think that, and that's really interesting. But the other thing is even too, I mean, like scientifically and all the rest of it, but you sort of think, the deeper we're breathing, the more oxygen we're feeding our brain. The more ability we're giving everything to be moving through our body and all the rest of it. But I will just say, actually, on the breathing, part of what you can do when you're meditating as well is you can focus on your breath and you can count your breaths. So say, for example, it's called square breathing. So you could do 4 by 4 by 4 by 4. So you breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, you breathe out for 4, you hold for 4. Breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, you breathe out for 4. Like that's literally your meditation. So just set the timer for 5 or 10 minutes and just go, I'm just going to do 4 by 4 as deeply as I can do that breathing. And then you can't think about anything else while you're doing that counting. Again, you could do 6 by 3. So you breathe in for 6, you hold for 3, you breathe out for 6. You could do 8 by 8. It doesn't really matter. Just play around with it. That's how you can start to do your own meditation, becoming aware of your breath, because the breath is the life force within us, and the deeper we get so stressed, we forget we're even breathing. We are so disconnected.
We're not breathing.
We're not breathing, but we are so disconnected, so disconnected. So that's literally meditation, is if you don't even use the word meditation, just going to go, I'm going to do some breath counting. I'm going to count my breath for 5 minutes. I'm going to breathe for 5 minutes. Do that, because the thing is also too, what everybody discovers as they meditate. There's, how many billion people in the world? There's that many billion ways you can meditate. There's not a path to meditation. Like there's just different ways that work for different people. What works for me might not work for you, etc., etc. So it's literally just exploring different ways of doing it, and for some people it might literally just be, I'm just going to do mindfulness coloring in every night, not just when I feel like it or I'm a bit stressed, but I'm going to make a discipline and a structure and a focus and a routine with that thing to then start to see what starts to happen. And I'm going to start to sort of measure, like you were saying, how that is impacting the quality of my day or the lack of quality within my day. And then what starts to happen, and this happened to me with going for a walk every day. Like I go for a walk every morning, and I did it. It was the start of last year and I missed 3 days in a row and I felt terrible. And I was like, I hadn't been for a walk for 3 days. I think the kids had been, stuff had happened. So basically since then, I don't think I've missed a day of walking, because the alternative to me not doing the thing that makes me feel better is not worth it. And like, as I said, I was still meditating during that time. So the meditation has never stopped, but I know the difference to the quality of my life through regular exercise, eating nutritiously, meditating, all of those things, because I've tried doing them, stopped doing them, felt crap, and thought, well, I want to feel good. I like to feel good. So I'm going to continue to do that. But as I said, my meditation has definitely evolved as I've become better at it, but I didn't come better at it overnight.
Exactly.
I've been doing it for 4.5 years, so I'm a really good meditator now, but I can get better. I want to get better. I want to know more beyond what I've already discovered,
What a smug, I know, Fee.
No, but the thing is, this is the thing also too. Like but the reality is we weren't born into that life. Like we're born into this frenetic, Western, crazy world. This is the world that we've been born into, but we have this tool of meditation that is starting to sort of really become back into the mainstream again, because there's a reason for that. We forgot how to do it, but it's the only thing. It is actually, I'm not joking, it's the only thing that we actually have at our disposal. It's free, that can completely transform our lives.
Yeah, totally.
But we're too busy to do it.
Well, exactly. Well, we're too busy. Yeah, exactly. But it changes our energy.
Everything.
We are energy, and I think that's a thing. Walking, whatever it is, outside, even along the beach, that kind of thing. It's one of those things that instantly changes our energy.
Yeah. And I think also too, that's a really good point too. There's two things that I really, really, really encourage with everybody I talk to and everybody I work with. There's two things. One is movement. So, we need to be moving every single day. That we are not too busy to move. We're actually not too busy to move. And the other one is stillness. We're not too busy to be still. And if we can really start to incorporate and integrate those two things into our every single day of our life.
I know.
The flow-on effects to every single area of our life are profound, profound. And you only need to do two things. You need to move and you need to be still. Just honestly introduce those two things into your life. You will change everything.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's a great point. Fantastic. What else do we need to know about meditation, Fee, before we have a quick chat about the Happiness Hunter?
Okay, I'm going to leave you with one thing.
Yep.
Just do it. Just do it. Stop thinking about it. Stop talking about it. Stop putting in your diary you're going to start on Monday. Just get off this call and go and sit down quietly somewhere for 5 minutes. Maybe light a candle if you want to. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Sit somewhere, lie somewhere with your spine straight. Set your alarm for 10 minutes and just do 4x4x4 breathing, or listen to one of Dr. Assam's, or do the green heart meditation or something. I'm sure we can include a link to that.
Yeah.
Honestly, just do it and see, and just do it every day. Just give it a go. So I'm going to trial this for 1 week and see what happens. Then see what happens. 1 week. You can do that.
And to be aware of how you feel. I think that's the thing too, to notice how you feel.
Yeah.
When you've done it.
I think also too, that's a really another good point, but keeping a journal, keeping a record of what is actually going on for you. And, like they honestly do say, this is one of the things that really successful people do. They start to cultivate a genuine interest and a desire to know more about themselves and to understand themselves. And a really, really good way of doing this is actually starting to record how your thoughts, your feelings, how you're responding to things, what you're reacting to and all that sort of thing. So start keeping a journal about what's actually going on for you. If you're really serious about being happy and having a good life, but it is up to each of the individuals as well with that.
And a perfect place to conclude. It wasn't until you took responsibility and took ownership for how you wanted to feel, that things happened as well. So, it is up to us as individuals, isn't it? Like, there's nobody else. No one else can do this for us.
No one else can do it for you. And I think that's all people like me or anyone else can do, is guide and show the way and say, look, here's the path if you want to follow it. But whether you follow it or not is completely up to you, and that's called free will. We've all got it. But I know that the deeper I direct my own free will, down, focused and channel it down positive paths, the happier I am becoming. And I really did push the boundaries of another way of living. And I decided 4 years ago that I wanted to push the boundaries of this way of living. And it's so much better, so much better. Oh, and now I get to, my job is telling other people how to do it. I created a job out of it.
I know.
It's extraordinary. It's blows my mind.
You're so good at it too.
Oh, thanks, Kate.
Seriously good at it. Now let's have a chat about the Happiness Hunter quick.
Yeah, okay.
Tell us about what it's about, Fee, and what's involved. And we're starting a walk on the 28th of July, on the Friday of July, which is I'm very, very excited about too.
Yay. So basically, again, the Happiness Hunter sort of was the evolution of Fiona, really, and what happened with me. So I had actually started a business coaching and consulting business, because I hadn't been able to get work. I tried really hard for a long time to get a job. I wanted something part-time. We had the 2 tiny kids, but what I did for work didn't exist in a part-time capacity, or it certainly wasn't in my world. I couldn't find it. So basically, I looked at how I could translate my skill set to self-employment and decided I can do this. I can do business consulting. And then I started doing coaching. I'm not a coach or anything I'm not a trained coach, but I started coaching business owners. And I was actually coaching them in the stuff that I was starting to learn through my own personal journey and my own personal odyssey. And because in my background, I'd done a lot of business strategy as well. So, and I'm very strategic. So I get big picture stuff. Anyway, so then I was like, I'm not exercising and I need to find a way to build exercise into my workday. I'm a single mum, got this startup business, 2 kids, wasn't into the networking. I was like, okay, who wants to come for a walk with me? And I posted this thing on my Facebook page. My business at that stage was called Vivacity Consulting. And I posted this thing on my Facebook page and I said, who wants to come for a walk with me? And it was like the page exploded. And I think at that stage I had 150 people who liked my page, right? But probably 25 or 30 people commented. It was extraordinary. And I was like, okay, there is something in this. So then we started going for these walks. And a lot of the time I was the only one that turned up for the walk, but I was like, I know this is a good idea and I know this idea's got legs, you know. And then I started understanding more about how the universe worked and about setting intentions and about being really clear about what you want and dreaming big, you know, massive, big dreams. So I just like, okay, well, what is it here that I'm here to do? And I'm like, what if the mission that I'm here to do is world peace? Like, what if that's the mission? You know, like let's just say that's the mission, you know, world peace. And, you know, because I was starting to feel so good about myself, even though I still was really working through some very, very difficult stuff. You know, I was really recently given up drinking. I was very newly separated. I had I'm not joking. I literally did not have money coming in. Like I was homeless for a period of time there. Then I managed to get this house. You know, my dad had to go co-signer on the lease. I actually couldn't afford the rent. You know, the flow-on effects to it were just huge. But I felt so empowered in my life, even with all of this stuff going on. You know, and I discovered that happiness was to be found in the overcoming of these obstacles and challenges. You know, I didn't want to be happy one day when. I wanted to be happy now. So how can I be happy now? So I started going, well, you know, maybe peace is achieved when we all have this state of inner happiness and joy within ourselves. You know, that's world peace, you know, if everybody has that. And I'm like, well, how can I get this out? Like, how do I communicate this? You know, I was doing the walks and had a number of different business models with it. I was still doing the coaching. I started running workshops. I was doing 6-month coaching programs. Then I was like, you know, and I don't know, it just sort of all kind of evolved, but always, always, always at the heart. You know, now we've got corporate wellbeing programs. I do keynote speaking. I facilitate workshops, like heaps of stuff, like amazing stuff. The Happiness Hunter is amazing, but at the beating heart of it, the beating heart of the Happiness Hunter are these free community walks. Because what I realised very, very, very early on in my journey, and this was partly through my involvement with that Hello Sunday Morning platform, was the importance of community. It's so important, you know, social fitness, that we are well connected with good people who will support us as we can support them in our lives, you know. So that idea, and they're just free community walks that are the Happiness Hunter walks. So we've got Happiness Hunter leaders who've done the boot camp and then mentored by me, and there's another leadership like network and stuff, which you're part of, Kate, as well, which is amazing. And the only way that we can kind of build that is by people hosting these walks. Yeah, so it's amazing. And so basically the whole premise behind the Happiness Hunter is that we are good when we are balanced within ourselves, like properly balanced emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and socially. When we have unity of mind, body, and spirit, we're better for everything in our life, including our business, you know. And a lot of the work I'm doing with the Happiness Hunter is working with small businesses, entrepreneurs, and also in the corporate space as well. But it's always working with individuals. You know, we're individuals who might be working within a business. But because of my business background, and I bloody love it, I like to, you know, operate in that space as well. So that's kind of in a nutshell what the Happiness Hunter is.
Yeah, about community connection and values that are very aligned with my own business, which I was totally drawn to and attracted to, and love the walks. Yeah, like getting outside, fresh air, moving, connecting, community, like it just ticks so many boxes.
And I think also too with that as well, like so with the Happiness Hunter, you know, really big thing about that is about life integration, not work-life balance, because, you know, we really need to be prioritising our own health, happiness, well-being, all of those. It needs to be a priority. And if we can't make time for that or create the space for that time for that, then what's the point? What's the point? Like really, truly, what's the point?
And also, like especially for women who are busy mums and, you know, juggling all kinds of things, you know, what we're role modelling to the kids. I'm really big on that too. And that was something you touched on early on. Like you decided you wanted to role model a better person to your kids. So I think that's integral too, in giving us the space to
do you know, it's so important because honestly, they see us. They don't listen to us.
They don't listen. Yeah.
They see us. So what we are doing,
and they feel us.
They feel us. Absolutely. So it really matters what we are role modeling. You know, it really does matter. And I don't mean to, I'm not coming at this from judgy or anything like that. It really matters, you know. And so who do we want our children to become as adults? You know, and what are we doing to show them how to be that?
Absolutely.
You know, and that's really important to me. And I feel that with my kids, you know, I think, you know, they've had to sacrifice a lot They don't know that. They will know that one day. They have actually had to sacrifice a lot for me to pursue what I'm doing with the Happiness Hunter. And but they are the most well-adjusted, resilient children. They're lovely, lovely people. And they are actually very proud of me. They're even proud of me now. Like, I know that, you know, they think what I'm doing is really cool. But that's not, I'm obviously not doing it so they think I'm cool. But like, I know that I'm showing them that the power in following your dreams and not giving up on yourself and believing in yourself and having faith in yourself and your ability and all of that. I'm showing them that. I'm showing them that. I don't even need to talk about it.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's awesome, Fee. And I can't wait to have you over here. So, and we're going to do a little workshop, or you're going to host a workshop for the walk, which will be exciting. And I'll share some details on that when it's all up and running and we've got it finalised. And then the walk on the Friday, the 28th, to launch it. Very excited. But where can people find the Happiness Hunter and track you down?
So, well, the best place to find me, is thehappinesshunter.com. So that's the website. You can find out more about the walks there. You can find out also more about the Happiness Hunter Bootcamp as well. Kate's going to share some stuff with you regarding meditation.
Yes.
And I'm on Facebook, obviously. And sorry?
Business Addicts. I was going
to say I've also got a podcast called Business Addicts, which you can find at businessaddicts.com, and we help you feed and manage the business addiction. So, and that's heaps of fun. I do that with my friend Laura and Bartley.
It's an awesome podcast. Yeah. It's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, no, and we love doing it too. So but I'm so excited about coming over, Kate. I'm really excited about launching the Perth Walk. Like, we're going west. It's exciting. So
you're all over Australia now, pretty much, aren't you, Fee?
So we've got walks in Melbourne, in Victoria. We've got walks in South Australia. We're about to launch into Perth. And we're about to launch into Brisbane. So, and I think New South Wales won't be too far behind either. So it's really like, you know, it is a global movement, the Happiness Hunter. We're just, you know, building gathering momentum here in Australia first. But it's really exciting to know, like, I know where this is going, and I'm seeing it now start to unroll. And the reason I know where it's going is because I meditate. Like, it's extraordinary. You know, that gave me the ideas, the clarity, the vision, the ideas, and also has given me the confidence to keep going as well. So meditate, people.
Meditate. Exactly. All right, Fee, thanks so much for your time.
Really such a pleasure.
Great to chat, and look forward to seeing you here in the West.
Yay.
In July.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, Kate. It's, you know, it's been lovely working with you over the last year too, and just sort of seeing you go where you're going. So it's really, it's fantastic.
Well, it's been a great help to me, Fee, honestly, very transformational, seriously.
Fantastic. I'm really, thank you. That's fantastic. Thanks for letting me know that.